Welcome to another Foolish Thoughts episode. This is Joseph Barone, aka A Fool for Learning, and our foolish thought for today is eBay sourcing part 1. As mentioned in previous episodes, I generate additional revenue by selling on eBay. I also sell on some other platforms, but more about that in another episode. And so one of the first questions that people sometimes ask me is, where do you source your items from? In other words, where do I find the items to sell? And in order to answer that question, I need to ask you a question. Do you have a collection or collections? Is there something that you like to collect? For example, some of you may collect board games, shot glasses, matchbooks, postcards, Boy Scout items, Tupperware, G.I. Joe's, Barbie, Fisher-Price toys, Funko figures, plastic toy soldiers, computers, Spode china, beer cans, soda cans, fountain pens, wooden nickels, or even golden books, among thousands upon thousands of other possibilities. And by the way, if you have no clue about what a wooden nickel is or a golden book, look it up. You'll know what they are when you see them. When I first started to sell, the very first items I placed on eBay were from my own home. They were from my personal collections. One of the items I've collected over the last decade or so, actually more than a decade, was Boy Scout memorabilia. And Boy Scouts is now called Scouting America. I collected patches and neckerchiefs and books and equipment and all sorts of other items, both from the U.S. Boy Scouts as well as from Boy Scout organizations overseas. And so what I did was I went through all of my collection and I identified two basic groups that I could put up for sale. The very first group were duplicates, items that I had more than one of. And some of you might say, well, why did you have more than one item? Well, sometimes I would pick up two or three of the same items with the idea that I would use it to trade with someone for a comparable item that I wanted. And trading is very, very common among scouts and scouters. And second, sometimes I picked up a duplicate item or two or three duplicates to give away as a small token of my appreciation to someone who did something for me. For example, when I traveled overseas, the duplicates of items that I picked up from U.S. Boy Scouts were given out to other scout leaders I met. They loved them. Now, the other group of items that I no longer wanted to have in my collection, these were items that I purchased maybe as part of a larger collection or somehow obtained, and they didn't really fit into what I was collecting. I mean, there were other Boy Scout items, but it just kind of came with the batch, and so they needed to go. And so whether those were duplicates or items I no longer wanted, these were the first items I decided to sell. So, and in my next episode, what I'll do is I'll speak about a couple of other ways to source or obtain items that you can sell at low or no cost. And just my foolish thought for today. So if you learned something from this episode, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, or even share with a friend. And to learn more about me, you can find me on LinkedIn. This is Joseph Barone, aka A Fool for Learning. Remember, learn, perform, succeed.